Hey beautiful people, this video is about what are execution skills. So in today's complex, high-moving, fast-moving technical environments, execution is a key differentiator, and I think it's going to be even more of a key differentiator as we incorporate AI into the process, because AI is going to speed things up again and complexify things again. If complexify is a word. Few professionals or even teams know what execution skills actually are. And so in this episode, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the breakdown of capabilities that make up executional intelligence, how they show up at every level in your organization, and how to build them intentionally. So execution is a multi-level capacity, as I'm sure you're aware, and executional intelligence is a capacity to turn plans into consistent, reliable results. And it operates on three interdependent levels. So there's the individual level, where clarity, where follow-through, and where breakdown repair is incredibly important. It's at the team level, where shared language, aligned agreements, and visible promises are the currency of success. And at the systems level, where architecture of roles, coordination flows, and measurement of satisfaction is paramount. So if you think of these three actually working together, and they're all taking responsibility or part of or paying attention to various different aspects of the execution layer or the execution skills that we need to build inside our companies. Executional intelligence is not instinctive. It's intentionally designed into how people make, manage and keep commitments, build trust and align action. So there are four core execution skills that are really essential for people as they start building out their execution skills and their execution intelligence and their execution capacity, which is they are detection, clarity, repair and ownership. Detection is the early identification of coordination risks. So many of us work in environments where we have very little visibility into the work of others. And what we tend to do is we tend to get stuff coming at us from various different departments and various different people in other departments that gets lobbed over the wall. It lands up in our inbox. We don't really have context or understanding as to why it's coming to us, unless it's come to us 10 times before, in which case we just recognize a pattern of recurrence. But what's happened in organizations because of the way we're managing ourselves today is we're managing ourselves at the task level. Once we start managing it ourselves at the task level, what we've done is we've stripped away the context, we've stripped away a lot of the meaning, and tasks become just these meaningless things that we've got to complete and to check a box on and return documents to some online portal where we can say we're done. When we think about execution skills and we think about execution as being a layer of human coordination that is really where work gets done, and up to now it's been mostly invisible to us because it is so incredibly complex, so incredibly agile, and so incredibly important in terms of getting work done and executing on strategy and executing on projects, that we have attempted to manage it through what I consider to be the visible layer. We manage it through project plans, through strategies, through meetings, through decision-making matrices, through RACIC role matrices, and we manage it through Slack channels and team channels and project plans, and we're trying to make sense of it through our emails as well. We're trying to make sense of it in terms of we know this is going on all over the place, and we know we're all making commitments to each other, and we're trying to do things for each other, and we're trying to deliver for each other, and we're trying to define done for each other, but we don't really have a coherent structure for understanding it. We have worked with a coherent structure, my team and I, for the last about 30 years, and that coherent structure is now something we're going to be able to leverage AI to help us with. So the extensibility of that intelligence is something we're going to be able to make visible into people in organizations much faster than we've ever been able to do. Up to now, we've been doing it as a manual process, educating people on what does it mean to have execution skills, what are execution skills, how do you learn them, what is executional intelligence, how do you build that awareness and that intelligence. And so with the addition of AI, we're now in a position where we're going to be able to spread that much broader across organizations, have people learn by immersion and by doing, which is the optimal way to learn for something like execution, which is really all about doing. And we're going to be able to help them hopefully innovate more effectively together, innovate better together, and really be able to deliver more value for each other, leveraging AI and leveraging each other. So as we talk about the 4 skills, detection, clarity, repair, and ownership, we're thinking about that in terms of promises that people are making to each other. We're not thinking about it in terms of tasks. Ownership of a task means someone assigned the task to me, my name is put beside it, I have to go and deliver on it. Ownership of a commitment means I have a customer, I've committed something to them, I have an understanding of what it is that I'm doing, I understand at the broader context level why this is valuable, how I'm being measured, what it's going to take to deliver satisfaction for my customer. So I'm now not operating at the micro level of tasks, I'm operating at a much higher human intelligence level where I'm actually being requested to do something by someone internally in my organization who has contextual understanding of what needs to be done, who's going to give that to me in a way that I'm going to be able to deliver on maybe 100 tasks as part of a project or as part of a role or responsibility or commitment that I am making to them. What we found as we go through this is we can start off with, say, 10,000 tasks, and they can roll up into a few hundred commitments because humans are able to operate at that level. And if we try and micromanage them down to the task level, what we're doing is we're actually obscuring their executional intelligence and obscuring their innovation capacity. So execution skills are built into the flow of the work. So execution isn't something that you can learn through theory, it's something you absolutely have to learn through practice because it itself is a practice. But what we do when we begin to build these execution skills for people and help them understand what they are is we are running action labs where people are getting trained in action. So we have weekly execution labs that can now, a lot of which can now actually be picked up by AI. But in the past, we used to run them where we would help people to understand what the network of commitments looked like across their organization, how they built that executional intelligence into everything that they were doing, how they could deal with some of the breakdowns where repair needed to happen, and they were able to have really constructive and valuable conversations that would allow them to recover from a breakdown much faster than they otherwise would. We do live coaching during planning because we're also looking to help people really tune into a language of satisfaction and building customer satisfaction. Now, customer satisfaction doesn't happen at the it does happen at the external level, but I'm not talking about it just at that level. I'm talking about it at the level of commitment of one human being making a commitment to another human being. That conversation, that discourse, that dialogue is incredibly important for creating context, for creating meaning, for sense making. And as human beings, we are sense making, intelligent beings, and we're always looking to make sense of things so that we can add value to it and contribute to it. We also do work on real breakdown repair where we see the wheels coming off the bus, projects failing, backlogs happening within projects. And what we do is we're looking to deliver on breakdown repair, not because that is something that allows us to check the box on the backlogs, it does, but because it's something that is part of the execution skills and the executional intelligence that we're looking to build. People's ability to be able to identify breakdowns, to recognize they exist, to recover from them quickly, to build resilience around them, and to build trust with their customers because of how they handle them is absolutely the bedrock of successful projects. The cost of poor execution is absolutely staggering. The Project Management Institute has reported that anywhere between 20 to 40% of project budgets is lost on coordination breakdowns. And that's 200,000 to 400,000 wasted on a tiny $1 million project. So before you've even started the project, you can anticipate there are going to be coordination breakdowns if you don't understand the execution layer and if you haven't built in executional intelligence into your team. And what'll happen, and you haven't built out your execution architecture, what happens is you know that you're going to end up in a stage of rework somewhere in the middle of the project, and you're going to start getting to that 80-20 stage, and you're probably going to end up delivering less than what you ever planned to, with less success and more budget than you'd ever expected. It's not just the financial impact, it's also the impact in terms of trust erosion. It's the impact in terms of resentment and resignation that builds up over time. It's the missed deadlines, it's the team burnout, where we're constantly trying to provide more transparency for ourselves and our team members by drilling down more and more on every single individual task and trying to get visibility into that through every single level of reporting we can possibly manage. That leads to more and more team burnout, or, and as one person beautifully put last week, I'm losing my soul. And it also ultimately leads to clients' dissatisfaction, not just dissatisfaction of the customers within the project, but ultimately the client for the overall project. Execution skills actually prevent those outcomes, not through tighter control and micromanaging, but through more skillful coordination, which is absolutely a skill and a capability that we can all learn successfully and relatively easily. If this is something that's of interest to you and you want to start building executional intelligence for yourself, there are 3 practices that you can begin today. You can ask, what does done well look like for every request that you get? Now, don't do it in a rote way. Do it in a way that you're actually listening deeply for what it is it's going to take to satisfy that customer. This is not something that can be done in a rote way. It has to be done in a very, very human way. And as AI comes more and more into our workplaces, the human aspects of creation, innovation, design, listening, empathy are going to become more and more important. The second practice that you can do is that you can begin to make real offers, not offers of help. And I distinguish very clearly between, I can do that, I want to help, where you're actually relying on someone else to tell you what it is they need you to do, but you're coming to them with an offer because you've already identified something valuable for them. There's something that you can contribute that is unique to you that will actually accelerate the project or make the project more successful or make the person who's leading the project more satisfied with the overall work that's being done. An offer is something that you can really design and that you can make very successfully. When breakdowns occur, which they invariably do, we all make mistakes, breakdowns happen, and they're not just mistakes. Mistakes are only a tiny subset of breakdowns. But when breakdowns happen, learn how to be able to repair those incredibly quickly and incredibly successfully, and recognize that that's a huge trust builder. So if you understand trust as being the foundation for executional intelligence and for execution itself, what you'll do is you'll start making real commitments and take ownership. You'll start making real offers to deliver value to customers who you can have a conversation with, and you'll also start looking to repair breakdowns as fast as you can when they happen, because there's something that you recognize are inevitable and it's not a big deal for you to be able to deal with them. These practices aren't just helpful, they're good tips for you to get started, but they're the foundation of welcome, coordinated, high trust work culture where executional intelligence and an understanding of the execution layer are front and center. Execution skills are often hidden. Operating in the execution layer beneath the org chart and the project plans is where these skills are really, really important. When these skills are weak, breakdowns seem to be random. When these skills are strong, execution becomes a designed capability, a reliable, repeatable, and scalable capability. And you are one of those people who can come into an organization with that intelligence. As you start applying yourself to building your organizational intelligence and you start building a deeper understanding of your own capability in that space, I encourage you to watch a video that I did as part of this series. This video is actually a part of a series of 20 videos that I've done on this topic, and it is What is Executional Intelligence? Video worth watching for you as your next video. As you embark on this, if this is valuable for you, if this made sense to you, if this helps you understand how to build a new set of skills that are going to be progressively more valuable in the future, I really encourage you to let me know how it's going for you. Drop something in the comments, watch the other video, and let me know how I can support you and help you in this process. This is one in a series of 20 videos I've done on the topic, and I hope they're helpful for you. I wish you the very best of luck. Take care.